Well, today I want to welcome Richie, epic drummer, to the Passion of the Art show. And I just want to hear his story. And here we go. The first question, let's kick it off, is when did you fall in love with music and at what age did that start?
Man, that's an awesome question. Uh, since I can remember, I started playing drums at the age of 2, 3. My dad was a drummer, and my mom would sing at church, and so everything I did was surrounded by music.
Okay.
My dad also used to work for a record label, a Spanish Christian record label,
Mm-hmm.
and because he was involved in that record label, I lived alongside musicians. So the only thing I know from my youngest days till now is music.
Right.
So, I played it throughout my whole life. And I guess when I really decided for myself that this is what I wanted to do was like at the age of like 7 or 8, when I started understanding like this is what I wanted to grow up and do. Because I would watch, DVDs of my favorite drummers
Mm,
and tapes, VHS, because I lived in that era where the transition happened. So we had like VHS tapes of live concerts, and I'd be glued to the TV, man, just like checking out the drummers and things like that. And so it's always been a thing for me.
oh,
You
that's pretty
know,
cool.
it's been my life.
Kind of immersed in the family music movement.
Yeah, everything I know and have known is music related somehow. So
Oh, that's
I knew
cool.
from a very early age. Yeah.
So, like, during this journey, like, who would you say was like your biggest support and or influence?
Oh man. Well, as far as influence goes, I definitely have to say from the earliest age, I remember watching guys like Dave Weckl, who is an absolute legend in the drumming community. Dave Weckl, Vinny Colaiuta, Steve Gadd, Buddy Rich. I grew up on those guys,
Wow.
and those are the guys that I would try to imitate from a very early age.
Hmm.
And I would listen to music. A lot of my practicing and a lot of my immersiveness in the culture of music was listening,
Right.
right? Not just playing. I would listen to all kinds of music. My dad is really into Latin music and salsa, merengue, Latin jazz, and so I listened to jazz music, Latin music, fusion, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. So the bands that I used to listen to growing up really shaped the way that I understood music and the way I thought about music and the way that I saw the art alongside the people,
Right.
right? The individuals.
Right.
I'd say the biggest influences were for me listening and watching.
Right.
That's where I absorbed and soaked in information as a child to then be able to take it out and spit it out with my own voice, right?
Gotcha. 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 Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, who would you say, like, personally now, your
Oh,
support system?
oh, of course, my family. My parents, they never they never necessarily pushed it on me,
Right.
but they also didn't try to sway me in a direction that was like, well, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer, you have to do this. It's like they saw the passion,
Hmm.
and they let it be cultivated and they let it grow.
Right. Right.
Right? I was never in my life was I pressured to do something that I didn't want to do because my parents saw a skill set and a talent and a drive, and so they allowed me to go with that and be molded, by being involved in their work and by being, like things like that. So my parents definitely did that. And then this is also extremely important. My wife has been the biggest
Right.
support for me, the biggest by far, um, because she's lived life alongside me. She's seen me grow. She's seen me go from absolutely nothing to something,
Wow.
and her support and love has definitely been that driving factor.
Yeah, man.
It's important to have family and friends that are involved in your life that can support and push you towards your goal.
Right.
It's even greater when you're married and your spouse is like, let's do it. Whatever we got to do. She's the bomb.com. So
That's epic, man.
She's definitely been the biggest for me.
Because not all the time, like a spouse is like 100% immersed in the other spouse's venture or dream. So I could
Right.
just by hearing you talk, I could feel like we probably should have her on the show too.
I know, right? Yeah, and she's great. It's true, man. It's true. Unfortunately, you know, there are spouses out there that not because not because they don't want to be supportive, but
Right,
because
right,
they're,
right.
to be honest, man, people are jaded in life. People are they've had bad experiences
Experiences,
and they're
right,
like they're filled with doubt, or they're like, well, maybe this is not smart,
right,
because our culture and our society has told us that if you don't grow up and you don't go to school and you don't become XYZ, then you're not going to be successful. So when a person like myself comes out and they're like, I don't want to be XYZ.
right,
As a matter of fact, I don't even want to be a part of the alphabet. I want to be number 11.
right.
Something completely out of the blue. And you're married, sometimes your spouse might be like, "Well, I don't know,
It's
man."
like all new for them. This whole thought process is new for them.
Yeah. And so what I say to the people that may be experiencing a little bit of doubt, so to speak, with their spouse or their family, what I would say is you have to, man, you have to demonstrate that you are willing to do anything possible, right?
Right,
If you have a plan B, you've already started failure,
right.
because what you're doing is saying, well, just in case
Let me try
I do
this.
fail,
Right,
right? Like, think of, man, I love sports,
right.
right?
Me
I
too,
love
man.
sport,
Me too.
and so I'm always like, think of guys like Michael Jordan, okay? Think of guys like Lionel Messi. Think of guys like Conor McGregor. Regardless of whether you support those guys or not,
Right,
they're workhorses, man. Like, talent means nothing if you're not willing to back it up with work.
right. Which is true.
Because none of those guys woke up who they are.
Right.
So you can definitely make it happen, and you can show the people in your life, your family, your spouse. You can show those people, look, I'm the real deal. And if you give me some time, if you let me prove it to you, I will.
Right.
And man, that your actions speak way more than your words.
Which is true. Which is true. And with actions, like eventually, people will just start changing.
It's very true. It's
Man.
very true. I mean, some people just need a little bit of proof. It's not their fault. The experiences in their life have caused them to be a little hesitant and a little. You just prove it to them and show them, look, with your support, I can make this happen.
And the
They're
thing is, it's years of just being taught a certain way.
Yeah,
And that's what you got to change. Years of just being immersed in this
true.
way of thinking. So it's like you got to basically introduce them to a whole new culture.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's a whole new culture. Because I talk to young guys who they want it, man. They want it, but no one else is supporting them. And I
Hmm.
and I tell them, look, you have to demonstrate to everyone. Not and the people that doubt you, not everyone is doing it because they don't believe in you.
Right.
They're doing it because they themselves
Don't
never
be,
had.
they probably don't
Right.
believe in themselves.
That's right, and they
Right.
never had the courage to go outside of the grain, outside the box. And it's not by their own fault. Maybe they do want to believe in you. So there are a lot of young guys, college kids, who are like, well, I'm studying this, and I don't want to study this, but my parents are making me study this. And I'm like, look, if you live under their house, first of all, you got to
Yeah.
honor and respect your parents.
Yeah.
But hey, but demonstrate and show them, look, guys, give me a chance, and I'll make it happen. And then when you make it happen, you make it happen. you
Sky's the
know?
limit. Sky's the
Yeah,
limit. That
yeah,
is, man, you touched on some like legit points. Like that is so true. But it's always good. Like the support, like I try to explain to people, like sometimes, like support is probably a very key component to probably anyone's success. At least one person. If you have that one person in your corner, you kind of feel like, okay, I can do it.
yeah. And then let me add to that. If you are one of those people that has no one, right?
Hmm.
If you are one of those people that has no one that is supporting you, don't stop. Don't stop, because at the end of the day, you have no one else to blame. You know, you can't say, "Oh, I didn't have oh, I
Right.
didn't have.
Right.
You can only look at yourself and be like, oh, I didn't do.
Right. Right.
You know, it's not what you have or what you don't have. It's how much you do or don't do.
Right. Which is
Like
true.
you can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
Man, epic, man. Epic, 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 epic. So when someone experiences the Richie treatment
Yeah.
musically, like what is it that you want them to feel? What kind of experience are you trying to create through your
Well,
music?
it's definitely an experience. That's the word, right? Because if you think about it, I'm a drummer, but
Mm-hmm.
there are millions of drummers. So what I have to give to people is a full experience, right? And that's not just my drumming. All
Right.
right, when people meet me, they see me play. First of all, when they see me play, I want them to hear me. I want them to hear a voice that they've never heard in their life, right? I want them to see an approach and hear an approach that opens their mind to different possibilities. I want them to see myself.
Right.
And what is me? Well, I feel that I'm kind. I feel that I'm outgoing. I feel that I can be funny and approachable. And I want people to see that through my drumming,
Right.
right? I want them to feel comfortable like, "Oh, dude, I like this." Because to be honest, people can see through fake stuff,
Right.
right? And when people consume when musicians or artists or anyone really in their field, they consume themselves with trying to impress as opposed to just enjoying, what you're putting on this veil of I have to get this job done, and it is I have to impress you. And now you're doing everything through the lens of impressing other people, as opposed to sharing experiences with people. And if you do that, you have a lens of everything I do, I want you to enjoy.
Right.
I want you to enjoy because I'm enjoying it. I want you to be a part of this with me. So whenever people experience my drumming or they meet me, I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to have a good time. And I want them, above all, to leave motivated to do it, right?
Awesome.
That's what I want for people. Whenever they experience the Richie factor or they meet me or whatever that is, you know?
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool, man. But I know it hasn't all been gravy. I know it hasn't all been easy.
For
So,
sure.
like, what would you say is probably the biggest struggle you went through this journey?
Well, man, regarding music, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because I don't see. All right, I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't see difficulty as anything more than just another hurdle to jump over, right?
Right.
So any weakness, any difficulty, anything that I might see as an opportunity to struggle, I grasp it and I try to destroy it, and I try to make it a part as not my weakness but my strength. So everything that has signified, hey, this might be a problem for me, I don't let it be that. Right. So like as far as playing goes, right?
Right.
Like, okay, I'm weak at double bass,
Right.
for example, or I'm not being musical. I don't let that become a struggle. I don't let it even get close to becoming a struggle. I just go for it there and then, and make it a part of my toolbox. Now, as far as life goes, that's a
Right.
different thing, right? I think the biggest, so to speak, struggle in life has been to get to the point, and I feel I am there now, but I get to the point where I can connect with people and I can be genuine. Because I was always the guy that was like, well, I don't want to ask anybody for favors because I don't want them to think I'm trying to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool because that's a cool personal characteristic, but that's not cool at the same time because then if you never talk to anyone, you never grow, you never meet
Right.
anybody. But because I was so afraid of being the annoying guy, I just never met people. And that was a crutch.
Right.
Until, like I said, I noticed it, identified it, and I crushed it. And what I did was I said, no, I'm going to continue to be kind and humble and genuine with people, but I want people to know that I'm hungry. And I want
Gotcha.
you to know that I'm here to make this happen. And I don't want you to be a part of my life to do it for me, but I want to build a relationship so that we can feed off of each other. So that's the biggest thing, was
Gotcha,
connecting with
gotcha,
people, because I didn't want to come off as fake or whatever. So that, yeah, that's what I
gotcha,
would say
gotcha,
for
gotcha.
sure.
So, what you got new working on?
Right now, oh man, well, I just moved to Nashville,
Right.
so that in itself is a huge undertaking. It's been a big adventure. So what I'm doing now, amongst a few things, is I'm trying to build my network and my name in Nashville. I want to be known in Nashville. So I want it to be like everywhere you turn, everywhere you look, I'm there. So that's one thing, and it's kind of abstract, the idea, because it's like, well, how do you sell a product that is abstract? Like, how do I sell people me? You know,
Right,
I'm not
right,
I'm
right,
not out there selling cookies. I can't be like, hey, taste this. It's amazing. Eat it. Enjoy it. It's like I have to sell you me,
right, right,
or
right.
the idea of me. So that's been a something that I've been tackling. And then I mean, I am going on tour in December with a band here in town. We're
Okay.
going to be going around the certain states in the country, and then I do a lot of lessons and things like that. So I'm just right now I'm building my network and my bases here
Gotcha.
so that I can be more in demand.
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
And
it's more of a marketing thing. Yeah.
Nashville is a pretty big musical scene, anyways.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty
It's
humongous.
it's huge here, but you know what? There are opportunities for everyone,
Right.
if you have certain attributes and characteristics, right? The only thing
What
that's,
would you say those are?
well, for sure, you have to know people. And so that means, in knowing people, that means you have to be good with relationships, you have to be personable, you have to be approachable, you have to be able to execute a conversation with literally anyone at any moment. Like with us right now,
Right.
I had no idea what you were going to say to me or ask me, but I have to be able to read people and also express myself. It's a dialogue, not a monologue, right? So that's key. You have to be able to connect to people on more than just a "what can I get from you"
Right.
basis.
Right.
If
Right.
at
Which is
if at the
true.
forefront if at the forefront of your thinking is what can I get from this person, then you've already failed,
Hmm.
because you already have this stigma that you're not going to do anything but try to get something from the person. And when you don't get something from anyone, you don't build that relationship.
Right.
And that has to go. You can't do that, because everyone not only has a personal story, but is connected somehow,
Tell
right?
you, giving
And
first
then,
works, man.
yeah, and then of course your skills, man. Like, you have to have that in the back pocket. And I've been saying this to a lot of people, but if opportunity comes knocking on your door and you open and you're in your boxers and you're not ready, opportunity is going to go to the next guy, right? You have to have your bags packed as soon as opportunity knocks on the door. And what I mean by that is your skill set, you have to have no doubts. You have to be confident, and you have to be good.
Right.
It's just think. How good depends on what your goals are.
Right.
How good depends on what your goals are, but you have to be good.
Hmm.
So relatable, connectable with people, and you have to be good. And then there's no reason why you can't do it.
So true, man. So true. So true. So true.
Yeah.
So getting ready to wrap it up, but I'm hoping that maybe we could try to get something together again at some later date. I have a lot of
Yeah.
things planned, but my last question for you is: what advice would you give a up and coming musician, or even just a musician in general?
Yeah. My biggest piece of advice is stop doing music and go study how to be a carpenter and just give up. No, I'm totally kidding. What? No, I'm totally
You
kidding.
threw me off the for saying.
What? What is he talking about? No, seriously though, I would say you have to be you have to be dedicated. You have to be obsessed, man. Like, you have to be obsessed to succeed.
Right.
I say obsess for success. Because at the moment that you're not hungry anymore, you've become complacent. You've closed off a door. I'm not hungry for this anymore. So you've closed off that door, so that opportunity is not there anymore. You have to be extremely confident in yourself. You have to work hard. And if you're not a self-motivated person, there's some people that can go to the gym by themselves. They don't need
Right.
anybody. But not everybody's like that. You
True.
know, somebody needs a partner. Find the person that you look up to and take motivation from and grow with them. Okay, that's one thing. So you have to be hardworking. You have to be dedicated because there are thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people out there that are trying to do it too, right? And in saying that, one thing that you must be very careful of is comparing yourself. If you compare yourself to the guy below you, you're going to be saying, well, at least I'm not as bad as that guy.
All right.
And if you compare yourself to the guy above you, you're going to be like, dang, I'll never be like that dude. You got to stop comparing yourself in that regard.
Right.
The way that you healthily compare yourself is say, man, that guy is awesome. What can I take from him to be where he is? Because I admire him. And the guy beneath you say, man, this guy is struggling with something that I was struggling with. Let me share with him. Or, oh, he may not be as far as long as I am, but look how he's doing that. He's approaching it in a different manner. I like that. Let me work with that. You know, it's a matter of affecting people around you as opposed to comparing yourself.
And you
Like
know,
we put,
you know, actually, what you could call that, and what that actually all is being inspired
yes,
versus
yes,
comparing. It's being inspired.
it's being inspired, man. And we put ourselves in like this little bottle,
Hmm.
and then we put the top on the bottle, and we never do anything but whatever is in our bottle. Like, dude, forget that. Go, first of all, go meet people, be cool, be nice, make friends, build relationships, and enjoy life. And in doing so, you will enjoy your craft more. You won't see it as a tedious, you know, chore. I have to practice. I have to be better because I want to be successful. No, you'll be enjoying yourself so much that it'll just be another day in the life of enjoyment, right? Play drums, play guitar, kick a soccer ball, you know, throw the best jab you can throw, and enjoy life with people, inspire people above and below you. Because when you do that, that's priceless, man. People gravitate towards that. They really do. And so those are my biggest pieces of advice. And practice like crazy, like nobody's business. Practice more than the next guy because you have to.
Right. Right.
Do.
Well, man, I appreciate it. You taking the time out of your day to share your story with us, and I hope this is the beginning of a great relationship, man. I'll definitely keep in touch. I hope you do the same, man.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a blast, and can't wait to do it again.
All right, man. Blessings.
All right, you too, man. Have a good day.
All right.